Hi, Reverend Mark, S2K, Spirituality to Knowledge, live with my friends here on Kick. If you see me looking down, getting some ideas, having some guests on. So, Egg, how you doing? What topic have you heard me talk about that deals with spirituality that you think maybe the people on YouTube might like? Didn't know you'd have the floor this fast, did you? You see, people, I'm on other streaming and chat areas, and people have always said, Mark, Reverend Mark, why don't you do a channel? Here I am. My friend Aegeus on here, and he's saying, let me think. The Eastern stuff. What type of Eastern stuff? Are you talking about some of the Buddhist philosophies? Well, in my spiritual belief, I've often said that I'm an atheist that believes in God. I think there's a lot of humanization of God, and it comforts us. There's nothing wrong with it, but we got to realize. So when somebody asks me, what do you think of God? Who do you think God is? There was a Buddhist monk that was quoted as saying, my God is so powerful, he doesn't need to exist. And that struck me. What would be more powerful than not existing and being able to create everything? That would be, wow, extremely powerful. So yeah, that's a good one, I guess. There's the Legend of the Hairy Man and the Buddha. That's fun. I don't know if we want to get into that one right now. But yeah, to me, spirituality, if it's true, there's a fingerprint that reverberates through all religions. And we can find that, then we can have an interconnection spiritually to each other. We don't have to believe that the other person might be right, could be right, but just acknowledge the fact that there are people that are spiritually and morally right of all different faiths. I think if we could do that and find the fingerprint of our Creator as a commonality in different religions, we don't get along a little bit better. So yeah, that was a good start there, Egg. Yeah, this is new. Trying to get some ideas. Anybody have any questions about spirituality? If this is a little shaky, I might need to get another tripod eventually, but I got the YouTube camera up there and the Kick camera going here. Okay, let me go into, oh, wait a second, another question. Do you mean like finding common ground between religions? It's not necessarily common ground, but being able to identify different points of spirituality. It's a little different than common ground because I'm not going into actual traits of the religion or pillars of the religion. When you look at religion and faith, it's different than the spirituality that we may all have. Spirituality of self allows us to connect to others and show what we mean to the world about who we are. The common ground is what type of person does the religion produce? The morals and ethics, not the dogma. But at the end of the day, is the person somebody that you trust, you'd have as your friend? That's more reflective to me than the dogmas and the pillars of different faiths. At the end of the day, is the person likable? Do they make the society better in some way? So, finding a common ground between religions or the sects, the different sects of religion, it can become so confusing, and then we forget the elements of the creator therein. Everybody fighting over who's wrong, who's right, and just the interrelation of spirits gone. This is a lot tougher than I think, but this is my first time out. This is fun. This is really working, having the two different apps open. Give me ability here to look at different things. Yeah, but yes, it's really difficult sometimes dealing with some of these people on these different apps, and you see them so locked into a religion that they forget the spirituality. They get wrapped up into the dogma, and they forget the interconnectivity that they can have with people of other faith or no faith, because they're arguing about points out of a book. And I've often said that a religious text should be like the owner manual for a car. It's great. You have problems, you refer to the owner's manual. It's right there. You keep it in the glove box, and you're good to go. But nobody has the owner's manual taped to the steering wheel as you're trying to drive. And to me, a lot of people with a religious text, that's what they're doing. They're trying to drive down the road and read the book at the same time. I don't think it's supposed to be that way. I think that you're supposed to be able to refer to whatever religious text you have at need or desire to read. But don't be sitting there trying to drive your life and go forward with that book open, distracting you from what's going on. There's a whole life out there, and you might miss it if you're so locked into the discipline of a text. The text is there to help us, not to be ruled in every aspect of our lives every second. I mean, I've seen some people walk down the streets with their holy text under their arm, ready to go, second notice. Maybe not so much anymore with the different cultures going on here now, but it's still interesting to see how people get locked into the idea of a text and argue about the text 24/7. I don't think it's meant to be that way. Now, I do like it when I'm having a discussion in one of the discussion groups and people keep throwing me out chapter and verse from a book. And it's like, okay, what does that mean to you? Well, I've been told it's not what were you told the definition of that verse is. What do you feel? What does that verse mean to you? How does that verse speak to you? And people become confused. Well, I never really thought about it because I was told this verse means this. Then why did you present it to me like an answer, like it's your own words? If it's not your own words, I want to hear people's thoughts, not people sitting there reciting passages from a book. That's not an answer. I ask somebody a question, I want to know what they feel. Now, if they want to start with the verse and say, now this is reflective of the way I think, then that's one thing. But let's not start a discussion by putting me chapter and verse. That's not an answer to the question. That's somebody else's answer. Somebody else taught you to recite that verse. Now, I want to hear what people have to say. It's a challenge because I know people want to go, well, I was taught this. What were you taught? Were you taught to read a verse? Or are you able to take that verse, dissect it, and tell me what you think? Can I see your spirituality instead of a book's spirituality? I'm interested in people. And it's hard to be interested in people when they're giving me the exact same quotes out of a book. So my challenge to you is, if you get into a discussion and it's your normal thing to cite chapter and verse, Try not to do that. Try to take the time to be able to speak for yourself about what that verse means to you. It could be that you have a better awakening and understanding of that verse than yourself. And thank you for everybody joining in. Thank you for the favorites on the Kick app here. If you see me looking up, I'm looking at the other camera. And guys, what is your idea of spirituality for yourself? How do you see spirituality? When I say spirituality, what comes to your mind? You're my guest right now. So I'm going to put you on the spot since I know you so well. He's smiling at me with the emojis, people. Now, you guys is one of those people that he's come into some of the different chat groups and just, wow, outside the box thinking on religion. Knows the religious history of some of the ancient text. Well, I'm Catholic, so my spirituality belongs here. That's why I invited you to that one group, because it was open-minded thinkers. So now, as a Catholic, I want to ask you something. When you look at the people that, there are a lot of people that disrespect your faith. When they point out, are you offended because that's your spirituality or the spirituality of the church? There's a difference, because sometimes we're offended ourselves, sometimes we're offended for other people or other things. I could pick one. People usually say about the idolatry. And there's a sense of reverence, and I get the difference between a sense of reverence and worship. There's no worship of idols. Reverence for the different people that are saints. And that's something to be nice and held in our minds as an honor. The act of canonization, that there's an honor to those people. Now, I get into the idea of the intercession, where in Catholicism, there's a lot of ideas of intercession. Being able to take your problems, complaints, and prayers to the saints in different aspects and have them intervene on behalf of you. Different saints of. And I get that you're not worshiping these saints. You're not worshiping these idols. And you're giving it a sense of honor, and people mistake that. So that's one of the things, I guess, when somebody tells you that, where does your spirituality lie? Do you feel you need to correct them, or are you so into your own spirituality you can smile and let it go because you know better? You can't correct everybody in the world that has a negative thought or opinion about who you are and what you do. But I think the sense of spirituality you have about yourself and your beliefs comes from that part. It doesn't matter what other people say or have an opinion on. You know yourself, your spirituality, and your faith, and how you present it to the world. And that goes for the majority of people in their own religions. Nobody goes into a religion saying, well, I don't really believe this, but no, there's some belief in some articles of faith. There's something that gives you great comfort about your religion or spirituality that leads into your spirituality. Now let's get off the topic of religion here again and go to the ideas and aspects of spirituality. Spirituality of self identifies yourself in this world, how you present. And I've said it before. You probably met these people that went all through school and college. They got their degrees. They get out and they know the stuff, but they just, it's like, I'm trying to think of a good one here. Certified public accountant, a CPA. knows all the mathematics and everything like that. But in talking with you, he just can't interrelate with you. It's not that he needs to explain what he does, but just doesn't exude the self confidence and spiritual connection that makes you want to work with the individual. They know their stuff, but they can't interrelate. They have no spirituality about themselves. And this isn't religion. This is the essence that when you meet someone and they smile at you or they look at you. See, I'm trying to do it right now, looking at the different cameras. I may stutter over my words, but I believe I have faith in myself. I know my spirituality. It's a difficult road sometimes, but I don't have to fake who I am, pretend who I am. I know, end of the day, I lay my head down on that pillow, I'm still Reverend Mark. So let's see, I'm probably just about at 20-minute mark. Wow. Anyways, as we get going in here, I'm going to eventually, this was just a test format to see how this all works. But I'd like to go ahead and do some structure and eventually start talking about how we go about studying and learning, but in a spiritual way. It's different than the idea of going to college or school and you go in and somebody tells you and you write it down, you memorize it. That's not spiritual learning. Spiritual learning is part of the experience of life and then how you interpret it and do it in a positive way that influences your further actions. When you use such knowledge and people see that, other people will judge you to either be wise or foolish. It can go either way with the knowledge and how you use it. But yeah, I'd eventually like to get into those topics. Well, I'm just about at 20 minutes here. This is a good run. Hopefully I'll figure out how to stream live to YouTube. But right now, this has been a real help. Guys, thank you. You're a bouncer. I appreciate you being here and everybody else that joined in. So the last few minutes, does anybody have any questions about me, about what I'm trying to do here on these videos? First one's kind of a little disjointed, and that's fine. I'm just getting the ideas and aspects back. In my test video, I was saying, help me, I'm stuck in this little box. But yeah, I have the background going. What is my goal in talking about spirituality on here? Well, when I get into the learning aspects, when I get into the idea about the learning aspects, I'd like to see more people understanding that knowledge and spirituality can go together. You don't have to fake it till you make it. You can be those things and be connected to them spiritually. So we'll see. 20 minutes in, lost my stream on kick. But thank you, people. We'll see how this goes.
I found this on the
web. I'm setting off the Alexa on here. Alrighty, people. Thank you so much. Any feedback would be appreciated. I'll have more structure and format. I'm just getting used to this right now, and I appreciate everybody watching and some feedback. But we'll get there. This was a good run. I really enjoyed this. Hope to see you all again soon. And put some comments in the feedback. And subscribe if you want to pick up more content. Thank you all. Reverend Mark out.